The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Ceremony for BronxCurrents 2013, and I'm going to be the master or mistress of ceremonies, depending upon how you want to call it. I'm Liesl Jones, Dr. Liesl Jones, and I'm the chair of the biology department here at Lehman College and the director of the BronxCurrents. So I want to announce or introduce our first speaker, which is the president of Lehman College, Dr. Ricardo Fernandez, and he has really spearheaded much of the move to increase the pipeline here at Lehman College and reach back into the high schools and be part of the high schools here. And so I just want to thank him for the push to get us to move in this direction and, you know, always giving us the support we need to try to do these programs that we like to do. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Dr. Ricardo Fernandez to the stage to give some welcoming remarks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Jones. Let me start by, first of all, welcoming our honored guests. I'm going to mention not too many people, but I want to especially mention Ann McGraw, who is here from Intel, that's been our partner in this enterprise, and it's something that we really appreciate and something that we're all working and looking forward to building on. I want to especially welcome all of the students who are competing here today, and I want to thank them. I want to especially also thank their teachers, their mentors, people who have worked with them to bring out their ideas, their abilities, and to help them conceptualize and ultimately produce the results that we all went around and observed. I also want to recognize a very important element here, and that is the families of these students, because a lot of this would not have happened without the strong support of the families. So let's give them a hand. And so, there are a number of faculty from Lehman that have, in addition to Dr. Jones, have worked very, very closely and put in a lot of effort into this, and I want to especially thank them all. I see Professor Racklin, who's helping coordinate our STEM efforts here at Lehman. But let me, first of all, welcome all of you to the first ever Bronx Sci-Fest. And it's happening at Lehman College, and I'm very, very pleased about that. This is really a very proud day for everyone, certainly for us here at Lehman, and I think it's a day that is part of a series of important days that we've had in our history. Lehman began a new era when we dedicated recently, a few months ago, a new facility dedicated to the sciences, and that was the building in which we all spent time earlier today. About a month ago, not quite, we formally opened for the spring semester of 2013 the science facility, and that meant that the first classes were held in Science Hall. and the labs were open. We're still tweaking a few things in the building, but essentially the building is open and we're very happy. So today, here we are for another very important first, and that the building is serving as the site for Bronx Sci-Fest. This is a space where the dreams, the imagination, the ingenuity of these young students were put on display for all of us to see and appreciate. Science is, of course, based on discernible facts through analysis and rigorous standards. But let's ask ourselves, where would science be? Where would we be as a nation, as a world, if our best scientific minds didn't dream? Dream of the riddles that only science can answer, or at least give us a hint of what's the reality, full reality behind that. The dream of the possibilities for new cures for deadly diseases, for new scientific advances, for new technologies that are going to improve the lives and opportunities for millions of people around the world. That is the ultimate potential, the ultimate promise of science. And that's, in a way, why the leaders of this country, including the President of the United States, have called for significant investment beyond public funds of both resources, money, and resources from the private sector and from educators across the country in an area called STEM: science, technology, engineering, mathematics. It's a call that we have answered, that you have all, these students especially, have answered here today with their project. Some of them have taken their first steps into a life and career that can unlock so much potential for good, not only for themselves, but also for their fellow citizens. It's a call that the City University of New York answered by making an undeniable commitment to the sciences. And the Chancellor proclaimed about a decade ago the Decade of Science within CUNY. And that meant that for Lehman College, a new science hall would be built, 69,000 square feet, dedicated to research and teaching, where our scholar scientists like Dr. Jones, who worked very hard to put this together, and her many colleagues here at Lehman, like Dr. Stephen Redenti, Dr. Edward Kennelly, Dr. Eleanor Wurtzel, many others, Dr. Racklin, will conduct research and train a new generation of students. That is our mission, and that is our expectation, to increase opportunities for young men and women of our local communities, encouraging them to reach for the stars and to unlock their ultimate potential. That really is the ultimate transcending purpose of our new science hall. And it is the true purpose and rationale for holding the Bronx Sci-Fest at Lehman College here today. So let me end by once again thanking you all for participating in this historic day and for all the hard work that went into it. You should be very proud of yourselves. Thank you.
So last May, on Mother's Day, I got on an airplane. Luckily, they had a seat. Originally, they didn't. And a group of us went out to Pittsburgh, and we encountered an incredible person, Anne McGrath, who welcomed us, made us feel at home in Pittsburgh, along with her colleague, Aubrey Clark, who can't be here today, but is kind of all with us here in spirit. And so it was a pleasure working with her and with Aubrey out there to come up with the ideas that surround the Bronx Sci-Fest. And so I would like to invite Ann McGrath from Intel to come up and say some words today.
I will be very short and brief because I know you guys have had a very long day and you've done a pretty spectacular job. But I will say we have teams from all over the world come to this Educator Academy. The Bronx team was done with their plan first, just in the spirit of competition. They were done. They had an excellent plan, and today is the culmination of that plan. So, Liesl, you did a wonderful job, and Ed's here too. I met them last spring. I just want to say you guys are fabulous, and if there's anything I can tell you, I'm not that much older than you are, but I'm quite a bit older. Keep going, work hard. You're already doing a lot more than most kids your age, so I just want to say keep doing it. And it was really wonderful walking around and getting to know a lot of you and hearing about your research. And I hope you'll consider working for Intel someday. So switch to engineering, though. I'm just kidding. So thank you for having me. This was a blast. You guys have done an excellent job. Keep going, study, work hard, and you're going to change the world someday. So thank you so much.
Your education is the key to your future. And if you're a high school student, your next stop is college. A college education gives high school graduates a competitive advantage professionally and financially. Without it, your job opportunities are much more limited. A college diploma is a necessary requirement for any successful tomorrow. So make sure you're prepared. Speak to your guidance counselor. Visit your local colleges. Your education is the key to your future.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
This is one amazing truffula tree. Can you imagine a place where these grow everywhere? Yes, it's called the forest, a magical place to enjoy with your family. Ooh. So discover the forest and explore all the wonder that's there. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
See, so unlike the Oscars, we're moving this right along, right? Because I know all you really want to know is who won, right? So, I actually know, but I'm not telling. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so, last spring I was on a group of people that was asked to search for a new provost. And so when I sat there and thought about, well, what do I want in a provost? Who would I want to be in charge? I had a lot of ideas, and they all kind of went out the door when our next speaker came in for her interview and told a story that I think blew everybody away in the room. And it's one that I don't think she tells very often, but I'm going to tell it for her. And it was the story that made me say, can we hire her right now and just put her right in the position? Dr. Morabel Sosa is the type of person that I think most people would like to have as a role model. She told the story of helping a student who she found out had been homeless, and she figured out how to get them books. how to get them back into college and how to get them clothing. And the type of person that would do that is the type of person that I want to be my role model in life. And there's many things that I could tell you about her, but I think I'm going to let her do that herself. And the only thing I have to say is that when I grow up, I want to be just like Dr. Annie Maribel Sosa. And I think after you hear her speak, I think you're going to want to grow up and be just like her as well. So I would like to welcome Dr. Annie Maribel Sosa, Provost and Senior VP for Academic Affairs here at Lehman College, to come give the keynote address.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. But of course, in order for you to be like me when you grow up, you need to stop being a Boston Red Sox fan. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. I have been provost at Lehman since August of last year. And Dr. Jones asked me to speak to you about how a young person, much like you, from very humble beginnings, grows up to be a scientist and an engineer, and at some point in her life is invited to speak to a gathering like this one. So let me begin by telling you a story that may also help you see how from where you are and what got you here can help you make your dreams a reality. It is my story, but take away the years and some of the locations, and it might seem like a story that either you or your parents have lived too. Like the opening sequence of every Star Wars movie, the story begins with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It was a long time ago, 50 years now. Yes, it was last century. The internet did not exist. Twitter and Facebook did not exist. There were no such things as mobile phones, so texting did not exist. And there was no cable TV. As a matter of fact, there were only some TV channels, 2 or 4, depending on where you lived, and they were only on for some hours of the day. And most of the programming was in black and white. And it was a place far away. The story begins in the place where I was born, the Dominican Republic. It seems much closer now, only because of the number of airlines that serve the island, the frequency of the flights, and the number of Dominicans who now live here. But 50 years ago, there was only one airline, Pan American, and only one flight a day to New York City. I'm the only child of a divorced working mother, but I grew up in an extended household with aunts and uncles and 2 younger cousins, all living under one roof. One of my uncles was my father figure, and I was fascinated by him because he too was from a place far, far away. He was from Spain, and he spoke with an accent. But one of the things that was very intriguing to me about him was that he was also a hypochondriac. We lived across the street from a pharmacy, and many pharmacists back then made the remedies by combining medicines depending on what ailed you and what helped you get better. My uncle visited the pharmacy regularly, and I went with him, only to see the pharmacists at work blending all sorts of powders and liquids that sometimes changed color in front of my eyes. I later found out that that was what chemists did. But we were too poor for me to get a chemistry set to play with. So when my uncle finished with his prescriptions, he would give me the small bottles, strangely colored, and I would play with them by adding water and other powders, so I could play just like the pharmacist did. I thought it was fascinating. But then I went on to play with other kids and doing other things, until my mother said we were leaving the country and coming to another country. We emigrated from the Dominican Republic to the United States to find a better life for both of us. We landed in New York City and lived on 181st Street and Amsterdam Avenue. I grew up in Washington Heights, with very few Latino families, but now a center of Dominican expatriates. The only jobs my mother could get at the time were from one pay-by-piece fabric sweatshop to another. I learned English in a couple of months with the help of relatives, a schoolmate turned translator, the streets, and television. Some of your parents, or grandparents for that matter, may remember an old TV show that had a sing-along. It was called The Mitch Miller Show. And it had a bouncing ball that followed the words, just like karaoke. That's how I learned English. We later moved to 172nd Street and Fort Washington Avenue, and I went to school at Incarnation School on 175th and St. Nicholas Avenue. I tell you all of this because even though I arrived in August, it was only this weekend that I was able to go back to my neighborhood and take pictures of where I lived. When I graduated from 8th grade, my mother, now remarried, decided that we needed to move to Puerto Rico. And I was enrolled in high school at the Colegio Nuestra Señora de Belén in Guaynabo. Once again, I had to deal with a different yet similar culture and had to relearn my native language because my kitchen table Spanish was not enough to carry me through the formal conversations with the nuns. But I was really good in another language. I was good in math. And my calculus professor recognized that and insisted that my not attending college was not an option. I was interested in studying chemical engineering, but that meant moving to Mayagüez, home of the University of Puerto Rico's engineering campus. Maybe I might have worked at Intel. And that was about 80 miles away from my house. My parents could not afford the tuition and room and board, and we knew nothing about financial aid or any other kind of assistance. So we were going to be on our own, and I was forced to consider a different major on the main campus, near my home. The University of Puerto Rico at that time had a philosophy and a mission of access very much like that of Lehman and of CUNY, so that if you maintained a GPA of 3.5 or better, you only had to pay the student activity fees. That was $21 a semester back then. So my job was to keep a 3.5 GPA, which meant that my college education cost my parents less than $200 for all 4 years. But my science textbooks cost more than 3 times that. That, unfortunately, has not changed. I began as a math major, converted to physics, and then combined the electives to add a major in chemistry. So I finally had circled back to my original fascination with our old pharmacist. I was going to get a degree in chemistry. One of my teachers suggested that I work with him in his research as an undergraduate student, and he became my mentor. He made me believe that I could pursue a graduate education, and he convinced me to apply to SUNY Stony Brook. I thought I would get a master's degree and find work somewhere, but the chair of my dissertation committee thought that I should finish the doctoral degree. Turns out he was moving to the University of Southern California, and he suggested that I transfer there with him. I joined several other students in his lab group, and we all made the cross-country move, my first of several. It was also the first time that I had crossed the Hudson, knowing that I would never come back, or think I would never come back. I didn't consider attending my PhD graduation ceremony because I was too busy thinking about my future career, until my mother said that she was buying an airline ticket from Puerto Rico to Los Angeles to attend my graduation ceremony. So, of course, I got my regalia and I attended the graduation ceremony. And there was my mother beaming with pride and a smile and lots of tears, like I know your parents will when you finish. I tell you this story because it may sound familiar to you. I am very much like you and like the students who come to our campus. first-generation college-going students whose educational achievements sometimes represent the singular aspirations of an entire family. I know the struggle it was for my mother to provide me with the opportunity of an education so that I could live a better life. My mother is no longer alive, but her efforts are always recognized and remembered because I officially changed my last name to include hers. Her last name was Sosa. But I also benefited from the support of 3 men, all of them teachers, one in high school, one in college, and one in graduate school, who guided me and challenged me, insisting that I have as much confidence in my abilities as they had, even when I had doubts. So I began my career as a teacher. I did some work at San Jose State University. Then I moved to the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. I moved back to California to teach materials engineering, so scientists can be engineers too, to teach materials engineering at Cal Poly in California. There I spent a year working doing research and development for a company that makes pacemakers. Then I became dean at Georgia Southern University, just outside of Savannah, and dean at the University of Texas at El Paso, and now provost here at Lehman. In coming back home to New York, and after so many years, I still see a mirror of faces, hopes and dreams that are very much like mine. We at Lehman College are very proud to host this first of many Bronx Sci-Fest, and we are very proud of your participation and dedication to the work that it represents, because you, our students, your parents, and the citizens of the Bronx expect and deserve no less. Thank you very much for your attention to my story, because my story is also your story. It is a story about the merging of talent, opportunity, persistence, and a supportive environment that you find in your schools, with your teachers, and with your family. Congratulations to you all.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Stand up and start a movement. Stand up for a cure, a chance, a change. Stand up to know and say yes.
Gonna rise up, find my direction magnetically. I'm gonna rise up, throw down my ace in the hole.
This is where the end of cancer begins. Stand up with all of us. Stand up. Stand up to cancer.
Your education is the key to your future. And if you're a high school student, your next stop is college. A college education gives high school graduates a competitive advantage professionally and financially. Without it, your job opportunities are much more limited. A college diploma is a necessary requirement for any successful tomorrow. So make sure you're prepared. Speak to your guidance counselor. Visit your local colleges. Your education is the key to your future.
This is one amazing truffula tree. Can you imagine a place where these grow everywhere? Yes, it's called the forest, a magical place to enjoy with your family. So discover the forest and explore all the wonder that's there. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
So in keeping with the theme of science, nothing in life is ever done in a vacuum. And so there are a number of people that need to be thanked. And so I thought about how to do this. And I think scientists are people who ask the question, why? And you've all become part of that group of people that now ask the question, why? And so you begin a journey. And this journey is your way of moving through your career of science. And so you began the journey today. And when you start that journey, there are people that pick you up off the ground when you fall, that stand behind you and support you. And those are your parents. And I would like to thank all of the parents that have come today and all the parents that have been part of this journey with you. There are also the people on the journey that give you the roadmap and give you direction and help you when you need to change direction, and those are your mentors. And there are 14 of them that have worked very hard with you all this past 9 months. And so I'd like to thank all the mentors for the time and effort they took to be part of this journey with you all. There are lots of people here that took the journey with me as part of this. And a very dear person, Dr. Ayan Alexander Street, who, without her, this journey never would have happened, because she was my right-hand man, sometimes my left hand. And unfortunately, she blew out her knee during this, so she couldn't be my left leg or my right leg because of that. But she has been an incredible colleague, and I'd like to thank you as well. I'd like to thank, I think you are still here, good, VP Ron Bergman for the vision and the idea and cultivating the relationship with Intel so that 4 of us, Ed, Tom, myself, Jillian Bain, and Carmen, could go out to Pittsburgh and to put together an action plan, which Intel Foundation then funded. So we'd like to thank Intel for all that they've done to make today become a reality for the 28 kids sitting here today. And I'd like to, most importantly, to thank the kids who put the time and effort into all of this. You guys are really amazing, amazing young adults. And today would never have been as special as it has been and as important it has been if you didn't show up every day, answer emails, answer text messages, and do the research and put the time and effort in. So thank you for making today a very special day. And a journey, yeah. You guys have entered an elite group of people who compete in science competitions at this level. And, you know, your journey may be a personal one to become a scientist like mine. My grandfather died of Alzheimer's. My grandmother has Parkinson's. My mother now has Parkinson's, and my nephew has Hodgkin's lymphoma. And so for me, every day coming into the lab is a personal day. For some of you, it just may be sheer fascination of joy of doing science and asking the question why. Whatever it is, it's your journey. Hold on to that journey and continue that journey. Today is just the beginning of many of the places that you're going to go. And so with that, if you flip to the second page, we've come to the part of this journey that you've all been waiting for today, which is the presentation of awards. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to actually call each of you up onto the stage and give you your certificate and a pen. And then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Fernandez and Dr. Morabel Sosa, who will then announce the winners in reverse order. So they'll do third place, second place, and then first place. So I think, can you write them down in order, Ayana? Thanks. Okay. And I'd like, yes, sorry. I need you guys to come up and shake hands, please. Thank you. Well, you know, it's been a long day. They're in alphabetical order, starting.
This is a science competition.
It's a science go, okay.
I just told her this is a science competition. And she's the scientist, so she's the one that should be doing this. Okay.
Thank you. Desiree Abreu. You can give it to her.
Well, they want pictures. Let's just sit in the middle. And you can hold it so that people can see.
There you go.
Good. All right.
Okay, so now you're all following her, okay? Jaritza Abreu. So do you know the routine? In the middle now?
Here.
Thank you so
Thank you. Florence Abu Hamur. Kenrick Alfred. Dennis Bonilla. Tall guy. I'm short. Jessica Castro. Gianna de la Cruz. Aisatu Diallo. Jennifer Hernandez. Congratulations, Jennifer.
Congratulations.
Megan Khan. Michelle Martinez. Arnav Mukhopadhyay. Angélica Mulero. Daniel Obeng. Marliana Ramos. Natasha Reynoso. Kimberly Rodriguez. Carla Romero. Oh, she's going to need help. How about if we go over there?
Why don't we go over here?
We're good at improvising. Lisandro Saavedra. Keiko Sánchez. Amanda Simón. Shanice Smelly. Sajo So. And last but not least, Rachel Velez.
This is one amazing truffula tree. Can you imagine a place where these grow everywhere? Yes, it's called the forest, a magical place to enjoy with your family.
Ooh.
So discover the forest and explore all the wonder that's there. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Your education is the key to your future. And if you're a high school student, your next stop is college. A college education gives high school graduates a competitive advantage professionally and financially. Without it, your job opportunities are much more limited. A college diploma is a necessary requirement for any successful tomorrow. So make sure you're prepared. Speak to your guidance counselor. Visit your local colleges. Your education is the key to your future.
Bring this sweet.
So now we're going to announce the winners, and what we'd like is to let you guys say a couple of words about your project or about how you got here. Brief. Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we have 3 third-place winners. Yes. I'm a scientist. I can count.
It's a team.
Oh, it's a team. Okay. We have a team win. Michelle Martinez, Yaritza Abreu, and Natasha Reynoso.
I love you guys. You guys rock. They're my girls.
Okay. How about, yeah.
Just get the, yeah. Right.
I'm sorry. Third place prize was $1,000.
Hey guys, my name is Natasha Reynoso. That's
Jaritza. And Michelle.
I guess
No, you can
yeah, we just wanted to thank our principal, Edward Tom, Miss Kim, Mr. Callahan as well, and of course Dr. Jones and Dr. Street and Lehman and everyone else who helped us just with this project. So. Thank you.
This is a team too?
Yes.
Okay. Another team. This time it's a team of 2. Shanice Smelly and Amanda Simon.
This is the kind of the judges.
Go ahead. They also won $1,000.
My name is Shanice, and we'd like to thank our mentor, Dr. St. Karen. We'd also like to thank James Lee. We'd like to give a big thanks to Dr. Jones and Dr. Street. I would just like to thank everyone for giving us an opportunity to show that we can defy the odds and do something with our lives. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so first prize, they're going to announce it, but so you know, is a full 4-year scholarship to Lehman College. Yes, I would think so, yes.
Well, for this, it's actually incredibly interesting that it was also a unanimous choice. First prize goes to Keiko Sanchez.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Now I have to talk.
You do.
Oh my God. Well, I was so excited when we started doing this research, and I really want to thank everybody, and I want to thank Dr. Jones and Dr. Street for have believed in me, and also my mentor, Dr. Lopez. Where is he? It's all the way up there. And special thanks to my parents and my family that they support me and brought me like every day to meet with my mentors and to the school. I don't know.
You didn't expect to win, did you? You did
I
an amazing
didn't.
job.
Well, my research basically was create wires with protons that will transport hydrogens, and I just think it was a really great idea. It contributes so much to green energy at this time that we really need it. And well, thank you to everybody for being here, and to the kids that participate. Everybody's great. Thank you.
Take one first, and then we'll go. Your education is the key to your future. And if you're a high school student, your next stop is college. A college education gives high school graduates a competitive advantage professionally and financially. Without it, your job opportunities are much more limited. A college diploma is a necessary requirement for any successful tomorrow. So make sure you're prepared. Speak to your guidance counselor. Visit your local colleges. Your education is the key to your future.
This is one amazing truffula tree. Can you imagine a place where these grow everywhere? Yes, it's called the forest, a magical place to enjoy with your family. Ooh. So discover the forest and explore all the wonder that's there. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Hey, I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. I'm not only on radio, we're on TV too. Open Mondays, Channel 67. Make sure you're there.
Okay, so I don't think there's really anything left to say, but thank you again. In the immortal words of Dr. Seuss, oh, the places you'll go, and I can't wait to see you get there. So with that, I officially close Bronx Sci-Fest 2013. But before we go, a very special shout-out was given to us by a fair in Oregon, and they've been very supportive of us. So I think that I'm going to let Ron and Ann come up and lead the shout-out to go back to Oregon to thank them for what they did for us. So please. Oh, sorry. I really apologize. There's a whole group of people over here that I completely forgot. I feel like, you won an Oscar and you forget to thank your spouse, and then you kind of like try to come back on stage to do it. So I totally forgot to thank the judges. So I'd really like to thank them all for their hard work today. So I'd like to call them out and have them stand up. Okay, Naidu Carmona. Kaliras. Diane Cox. Barbara Burstein. Dean. Tony Papantonio. And Angela Kelly, but I think she had to leave early. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to do the shout out.
Everybody come on stage. We'll take a group shot and we'll do it there.
Okay, there we go. All kids up on stage, all participants up on stage. They want to take a picture and then give the shout out back, because that way you face the camera. You don't need to bring your stuff.
Everybody just come on stage. Come on stage. We'll take a group picture. And what we're going to do is shout out to Oregon. We're going to say, Oregon, thank you, we love you. Would that be okay?
Okay.
Oregon, we thank you, we love you. Okay?
Thank you, we love you.
Okay.
Oregon. Oregon. Oregon.
Oregon. I used to say Oregon too. They get very offended.
Oregon.
Oregon.
Oregon. Thank you, we love you.
Oregon.
Oregon.
Oregon, thank you, we love you. Oregon.
Oregon.
Oregon?
Oregon.
Here's what we're going to say. Oregon, we love you from the Bronx Sci Fest, okay? We're going to do it once, low, and then once really loud, and we're going to send them a video postcard, okay? This is the test. Oregon, come on. Oregon.